Okay, so let's unpack this. We have a really fascinating stack of sources here, all detailing, well, one of the most common and frankly insidious forms of manipulation out there, the guilt trip.
It really is. It's like this emotional sleight of hand.
Mm,
It happens when someone wants obedience, but they don't want to actually make a request.
exactly. So our mission in this deep dive isn't just to list these things.
No, not at all. We want to extract the precise mechanics of why they work so well. We want to give you a fast track to spotting them in the moment.
And more importantly, give you some concrete, effective ways to shut them down.
Right. We want you to have the language you need to turn off that awful, nagging feeling that you're a terrible person just for, prioritizing your own needs.
Think about that classic scenario. You finally set aside a weekend for yourself, maybe a trip or just some quiet time at home. You're excited.
And then the phone rings.
Yeah. And someone close to you says, with this sigh that you can feel through the phone, "Oh, you're going away. I see. I was kind of hoping we could spend time together, but it's okay. You go have fun. I'll be fine."
And just like that, the excitement is gone.
Instantly, it's replaced by this knot in your stomach.
Yeah.
And you start doing the math in your head. All right, should I cancel? Am I a bad person?
And that's the genius of it. They didn't ask you to cancel. They used your own empathy against you. It is pure manipulation, but it's disguised as genuine hurt. The goal is always control.
So, based on the materials, we're breaking down 5 classic guilt trip phrases. These are the ones that seem to work on almost everyone who is, kind or empathetic.
Let's get into the heavy hitters.
We have to start with the biggest one.
Guilt trip number 1. After everything I've done for you.
Ugh. The nuclear option.
It is. It leverages the entire history of a relationship to control what's happening right now.
And it feels like it's almost always tied to family dynamics. Picture this. You're 28, you're doing well, and you tell your parents you're moving for a huge job opportunity.
And your mom gets quiet. Maybe a tear wells up and then she drops it. We sacrificed everything for your education, worked 2 jobs, and now you're just leaving.
Oof, yeah. And the thing is, the first part is often true. They did sacrifice.
And that truth is what makes it so powerful. It creates this immediate, overwhelming cognitive dissonance in your brain. You're torn between, I am so grateful for them, and I have a right to live my own life.
And that's where the toxic cycle starts.
That phrase, it's a masterclass because it does 3 things all at once. First, it reminds you of past favors, which immediately creates a sense of debt.
It's the reciprocity principle weaponized.
Exactly. Second, it implies your current choice, your growth, somehow invalidates all their past sacrifices, like you're spitting on their kindness.
Wow.
And third, and this is the most important part, it shifts the focus. Your life choice isn't about your future anymore. It's about their pain right now.
There was this one source, it analyzed the case of a student, Jessica, who almost gave up her spot in medical school.
I remember that one.
Her boyfriend, instead of saying he'd miss her, said, "After all the time and emotional energy I've invested in this relationship, you're just going to move away."
He used the language of finance.
Yeah.
Like she was an asset he'd put money into.
Yeah.
And because she was an empathetic person, it nearly worked. She almost derailed her entire future.
So, okay, knowing how powerful that is, how do you respond? How do you push back on the nuclear option without just melting down or sounding completely ungrateful?
The response has to be surgical. You have to acknowledge, then separate, then set a boundary.
Okay.
The script is something like, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I am so grateful. And D, I'm making this decision because it's the right path for my life. Those 2 things can both be true.
But hold on, if you say that to a parent who is actually crying, doesn't that just sound cold? That's the part that's so hard.
And that's the critical nuance, you're right. The delivery has to be compassionate, but the boundary has to be firm. The coldness isn't in the boundary itself, it's in the refusal to be manipulated.
I see.
And here's the essential gut check. People who genuinely care about you want you to grow, even if it's hard for them. People who want to control you use the past as leverage. It's a fundamental difference.
That is a powerful distinction. Okay, let's move to the second one. This one might be the most common in, day-to-day life.
Guilt trip number 2. It's fine, don't worry about me.
The passive-aggressive masterpiece.
Oh, without a doubt. When someone says, it's fine, what they really mean is, it is absolutely not fine, and I'm going to make you pay for this later.
One of the articles we reviewed had this perfect example. A guy has to cancel a dinner date because of a work crisis. His partner says, "Oh, it's fine. Do what you need to do."
And he thinks, phew, okay. But then for the next 2 days, she's just cold. Silent treatment.
The trap was set. She appeared to agree, but she was actively building this cloud of discomfort. She was just waiting.
And the detonation came days later, during a totally unrelated argument, when she explodes with, "You always choose work over me. Remember Tuesday? I said it was fine, but it wasn't fine, and you didn't even care enough to notice."
That strategy works because of the ambiguity. You know they're not fine. Their body language, their tone, it all says something is wrong. But they deny it.
And keeps you on edge, right? You're forced to chase their emotions, trying to guess what you did wrong.
And that little add-on, "don't worry about me," is just so insidious. It's like telling someone not to think about a pink elephant. It forces you to worry.
It translates to, "I am suffering silently, like a martyr, and I expect you to notice my noble suffering and fix it."
So the solution has to be completely counterintuitive.
You have to take them at their word. You refuse to play the guessing game.
So if they say, "it's fine,"
You respond calmly, "Great. I appreciate you understanding." If they add, "Don't worry about me," you say, "Okay, I won't. I trust you'll let me know if you need anything specific."
you just call their bluff with politeness.
You have to. Because if they come back later and say, "You should have known," you can pivot back to the facts. "I respected what you told me. If you felt differently, you needed to communicate that clearly."
That takes a lot of nerve, but I can see how it's the only way out. Okay, moving on. Guilt trip number 3. I guess I'll just...
Yes. The "I guess I'll just suffer alone then" formula. This one's subtle because it isn't technically a request.
No, but it's a huge demand emotionally. It shifts the entire responsibility for their problem right onto your shoulders.
Think about that anecdote of the friend who couldn't help his buddy move. The buddy says, "Oh, well, I guess I'll just have to do it alone then, with my bad back."
That bad back detail is the key. That's the emotional blackmail.
Exactly. Now, you're not just saying no to helping. You are now picturing your friend in agony, and they've made a direct link between their pain and your decision.
It's extortion. Do what I want or I'll suffer, and it will be your fault. We see this with aging parents a lot. "I guess I'll just spend the holidays all by myself this year."
Or in arguments, "I guess I'll just stop sharing my feelings with you since you obviously don't care."
So how do we respond to that? How do you show empathy for their situation without taking the bait to fix it?
You validate the feeling, but you maintain separation from the solution. The response have to be short and clear. "That sounds really tough. I hope you find a solution."
And that's it.
You must stop there. Do not add, "Have you tried calling someone else?" Or, "Maybe you could rent a dolly."
Because offering solutions is still taking the bait.
It is. The moment you start problem solving, you've confirmed that their manipulation worked. You've accepted that their problem is now your problem.
Got it. Okay, that brings us to number 4. Guilt trip number 4. You've changed. This one feels so personal.
It's meant to. It's designed to strike right at your identity, and it almost always appears when you start setting healthy boundaries or growing in a way that no longer serves the other person.
So the statement, "you used to be so much more fun," has a hidden translation.
The real translation is, "You used to do whatever I wanted, and now you don't, and I find that inconvenient."
One of the sources talked about college friends. One person decides to stop drinking so much, and immediately they get hit with, "You've changed. You're no fun anymore."
They're trying to shame a healthy choice. It's weaponizing your own growth against you. We see it at work, too. You get a promotion, you're busier, and suddenly you're too focused on yourself.
Or when someone, often a woman, gets more confident, she's suddenly cold or rigid. No, she's just less willing to tolerate nonsense.
The mechanism is disguising control as concern. "I just miss the old you" really means, "I miss the version of you that was easier for me to manage."
So the response has to be one of pride. No apology.
Absolutely none. Your response is simple and confident. "You're right. I have changed. I'm growing, and I'm proud of it."
Growth is not something to feel guilty for.
And anyone who tries to make you feel guilty for it doesn't deserve access to the new, better version of you.
That is a powerful boundary. Okay, let's tackle the last one, and this one might be the most damaging of all. Guilt trip number 5. If you really loved me.
The relationship killer. It takes the most positive emotion you have, love, affection, and turns it into a loyalty test.
And it causes that immediate internal panic, that voice in your head that says, "Do I not love them enough? I have to prove it by doing this thing I don't want to do."
We looked at cases where this starts small and just escalates. One source tracked a couple where it began with, "If you really loved me, you'd meet my family this weekend."
Okay, maybe manageable.
But then it grew into, "If you really loved me, you'd skip your best friend's wedding because I don't feel like going."
Wow. The moment love becomes conditional on an action, it's not really love anymore, it's coercion.
Healthy love respects autonomy. It respects boundaries. This phrase is designed to obliterate boundaries by making your refusal proof that your love isn't real.
We see it with families, too. If you really cared about this family, you'd move back home.
It's suffocating control disguised as deep emotion, and it requires a completely non-negotiable response.
You have to hold two separate truths at the same time.
You do. You have to say, "I do love you, and I'm not going to do the thing they're demanding."
Love is real, boundaries firm.
Yes. And if the other person cannot accept both of those truths, your love and your boundary, then you have to draw a very hard conclusion. They don't want your love. They want your obedience.
And that relationship needs a serious reevaluation. Okay, so let's synthesize this. We've broken down 5 really effective traps. What's the common thread here?
Well, stepping back, you see that all 5 strategies prey on our best qualities. Our empathy, our gratitude, our sense of responsibility. First, they all shift responsibility. Your choices become the cause of their suffering.
Second, they weaponize that empathy. Your kindness is used as a lever to get you to fix their manufactured pain.
And third, and this is key, they make you question yourself instead of questioning their demand. They put you on the defensive from the very first word.
So the antidote has to be a reality check, shifting from self-doubt to just objective assessment.
Absolutely. The moment you feel that guilt bubbling up, you have to stop and ask yourself 3 questions. First, am I actually doing something wrong, or am I just not doing what they want?
Second, is this a reasonable request or is this a manipulation tactic?
And maybe the most important one of all, would I ever treat someone I love and respect this way?
And if the answer to that last one is a hard no, then you know what's happening. You're being guilt-tripped and you have every right to hold your ground.
As a final thought, building on the sources, it's worth considering the person who uses these traps all the time.
Mm.
They might have what's sometimes called a martyr complex. It's a pattern where people suffer loudly and publicly as a specific means to control others silently.
So their suffering is actually a tactic. It's not just a reaction, it's a tool.
Exactly.
Mm.
They wear their suffering like a weapon of mass obligation. And understanding that is so important. The moment you can name the pattern, it loses its power over you.
Your kindness is a gift. It is not a debt to be repaid with your obedience.
I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
your boundaries are not up for negotiation.